Hello, listeners and viewers, and welcome to another episode of W.I.N.E. My name is Jenilyn, and I am drinking Flirty Bird Sauvignon Blanc.
Nice.
I'm drinking.
I'm Shirley, and I'm drinking a lemon spritz.
I'm Tia, and I'm drinking New Amsterdam vodka.
Nice.
Dang, girl.
I'm Miska, and I'm drinking lime seltzer water.
I'm Treese, and I'm drinking, I don't know how to say this, but it's a rosé. I think it's like Crayon La Rosé.
So, we're back to our regular podcast, and we're discussing a lot today. So, in the news, we are discussing number 45 plans on cutting welfare spending. And then in entertainment, we are going to discuss a hot topic. Ooh, exciting.
Sizzle.
Yeah. And then we have a couple of shout outs, and we have a few things that we need to whine about. And we will do that in our favorite segment, Let's Whine About It. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. If you happen to be listening to us on our way to work, or you're at work, or maybe you're somewhere that you shouldn't be drinking, first of all, thank you for listening, but maybe you shouldn't be drinking. So just don't drink, because we want you to drink with us while you're listening to our podcast, but we also want you to be safe. But if you're not driving home from work or sitting comfy somewhere, go ahead and pause while you pour yourself your favorite glass. If you don't drink, pour a beverage of your choice. Remember to always drink responsibly. Relax and join us for wine. Let's get sipping. Let's jump into it. I think we're gonna head into news, and Trace, take it away.
So, I don't know if you guys remember, but we got but the Donor Relief Act passed, and some of us saw a little increase in our funds, but the big corporations saw a huge increase. And guess what that means? It's time to cut programs. Yay! No. Along with some cuts from our services, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is also known as SNAP, LINK, EBT, anything to do with food stamps or services, coupons, I don't know what other states call them. It used to be called LINK here, now it's called SNAP in Illinois. But anyway, they're planning to do a $213 billion cut from the program over the course of 10 years, with plans to cut $17 billion by 2019. So this will impact millions of people who receive services who can't necessarily afford groceries or to pay for their own meals. And these are most of them are working citizens, like most of them are working either low-income jobs or part-time jobs, and they just don't make enough to be able to pay for meals for their family because groceries are expensive as shit. And so, of course, our good old faithful 45 has this wonderful plan to create a program that is very similar to what we all know as Blue Apron, or I think there's like a couple of mail order services where you get food delivered or fresh food delivered to your house weekly for maybe like on the average of maybe $40 or $50 a week, depending on the serving and per person. And so he has this wonderful idea to create this program to help wean people off of the food stamp assistance program. And in the plan, even though it sounds great, like Blue Apron, you think of like healthy food, fresh items delivered to your door. That's not what we're looking at with this one. He's calling this the American Harvest Act, which would consist of overly processed foods, very unhealthy foods that have a limit, maybe no nutritional value. And so when I was reading this article and reading the articles and hearing about it, when they mentioned the American Harvest box and what it looks like, I thought about like the 1970s and even like sort of part of like 1980s, because I remember seeing these boxes of just like American like government name stuff. So it has just like government pork, USDA, processed food, and it lets you know it wasn't of no nutritional value. It was just like a big ass box of raisins, and it says like raisins and no nutritional value in it at all whatsoever.
That government cheese.
Yes. So that's what I initially thought about when I saw it, and I wanted to know what you ladies thought about it and to share your take on this fun-loving American Harvest box.
Does anybody know if he gave a rationale for like the delivery part of it, or doing half of it as a delivery service and the other half you can't actually go to the store and buy food?
Yeah, so this was getting to what I have multiple issues with it, but like half of it, like Tia said, half of it you would get in this box with not processed food, and the other half you would still get on your EBT, food stamps, SNAP, whatever card. So it makes no sense. I haven't seen anything yet for the rationale behind why it's faced that way, but I can imagine that the reason why is because big food companies got a big tax cut, and this is a way for them to make more money, push their products out there. They're not healthy products, but they're I'm sure, like, I feel like it's like, you know how we joke about things being like laced with crack? Like, I feel like it's just stuff that people are just going to get addicted to that is absolutely unhealthy, but it just gives more money to these companies.
That is scary.
Right. Like
Yeah.
it's called the American Harvest Box, but it's all processed foods and sodium rich foods. Like that's not, it's not actually food that's harvested. Like it doesn't make any sense to waste money on shipping.
No, it was
Or-
harvested like 6 or 7 processes ago.
That's what I was gonna say.
True.
It was harvested in a food company.
And one
I
of those
imagine
labs.
though, I don't know, again, we don't really have like the logistics of how it's going to work, but I also imagine it maybe not being shipped to the houses, where the plan ends up being where people have to go to these places and pick up these boxes, which, I mean, if we talk about stigma of government assistance, hello, like, so I feel like what it will actually be is people just going to facilities and picking up boxes.
Right. And that used to be the case. My family is from the rural South, and they used to get, I think they used to call it the commodities. So it would have like the government cheese, the no label cereal, that cheese was low key fire though, I'm not gonna lie. But the rest of the stuff is like trash. And what I know about them is that my family, 2 of the 3 people in that household had like diabetes, high blood pressure, and I feel like it's a way to further, I don't want to be all like conspiracy-ish, but like clearly these are not the people that people care about.
Mhm.
And so I feel like Shirley mentioned possibly getting addicted to these foods, and if that's like your main source of food, is going to lead to even worse health outcomes, which if we was about shit, that would be a concern. But I feel like because the people who receive assistance are not the people that this country really like cares if they live or die, then it's kind of like just sticking with the theme, which is really disappointing.
And then if we go into health concerns, then how about making money for pharmaceutical companies and all that? Because it's like,
True.
you got to go to the hospital because you got diabetes. You got to take these diabetes pills. You got to, like,
It's a cycle.
bruh, are you kidding?
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm.
And then they want to cut, like, along with this, the Medicaid and like the health care for these people too. So you want to like feed them garbage and then be mad when they get sick from the garbage that they're eating, because it's all that's,
They're not going to be mad. They're just going to pump them with pills.
Right.
Let's take
I
more of
don't-
your money.
I don't remember reading it, but was there a rationale of like as far as savings would go with this program? Did he get into it as because he's such a businessman? I figured he'd probably get into numbers, but is there anything like why he's doing this delivery program or why he's even proposing it?
See, this is what's wrong with the first question you asked. You asked why.
Why is he doing any of this? Well, there is no rationale.
There has been no rationale to any of his madness since he got it off.
Just gonna keep pouring it. I don't care anymore.
I mean, to be honest, you're asking the right questions. Any logical person, you're asking the right questions, but it just sucks because it's not. This person has proven to not have any rationale about any of the decisions or.
You know, I bet he thought he was being like he was like showboating or being like sales pitchy and making it seem like this is so convenient and premier, like you're gonna have somebody deliver groceries to you even though you're on government assistance.
Oh, I can totally see him doing that because like Blue Apron's supposed to be like, oh, so ritzy, and like, and he probably is gonna try to package it up, but like, oh, now you get a home delivery too, just like everyone else can. Ugh, gross.
Like, people ain't gonna notice that they shit is labelless as shit and cardboard, and other people are getting fresh ass veggies and fruits and high quality meats. Like, why?
No.
My other thing with that too, so you gave out like so the Donor Relief Act passed, right? So all these big companies, corporations got these massive tax cuts. So with that, we know that we have like food deserts. Like this isn't this exists. Like a lot of neighborhoods and communities don't necessarily have grocery stores to be able to like go to conveniently and get dinner and groceries and things like that. You have to travel far. So with that, you would think that the big box companies, that the people, the, you know, old faithful that he put all this to give them these huge ass tax cuts, that they would come to the communities and put grocery stores in the community so that the people that are on these SNAP benefits can have access to healthy options that are actually affordable too, because that's a whole other topic of discussion. But
well,
yeah.
So speaking of food deserts, in Philly about 16 years ago, there was a huge push to kind of get rid of the issue of food deserts in the Philadelphia area. So we saw a lot of grocery stores popping up in poor neighborhoods. The issue that we're still combating now is that they're still not the best priced grocery stores and all of that. So, I mean, I could see that being, like, I'm all for combating food deserts. It just needs to be done the right way. And what we're also finding is the trend in Philly, or what I'm noticing anyway, I didn't do any research, but what I've been noticing with the food deserts and it being combated by grocery stores is that's typically the first step to a huge push in gentrification.
Yeah.
So we're not actually making things better. I can name at least 3 neighborhoods where I would say a medium range priced grocery store, not anything like Whole Foods or even Trader Joe's, but area grocery stores. They've had more locations, and it's become the first step towards gentrification. So it's still like, okay, but what's happening with these families? Like, you place a grocery store in this poor neighborhood, but pretty soon, a couple of years after that, these poor families have to leave the neighborhood because they can no longer afford the value that has increased because of these grocery stores. So I'm all for combating it, but it's not happening. At least what I'm seeing, it's not happening the right way.
Which is why, if this plan wasn't some fuck shit, it could actually be, like, it has the potential to be of service, to be in those places, to where the food could just go to the people, and then that kind of effect that you were just mentioning would be at least decreased in some way, or minimized, and people will still have their fresh food and be able to keep their homes and be safe and kind of live their lives without, here's a grocery store, so we know what that means. We know what's next.
Right. Which therein lies the problem, is that in retrospect, it could be a good idea. And just like, it's our leader who doesn't understand like what real life is. He's so detached from like what these people are in poverty and how they live and like what their food source is, that he thinks that this is a good idea, but he doesn't see like the down cycle of everything, like what could lead to this, and this could lead to gentrification, this could, you know, lead to other things.
Do you think he doesn't see it? I think he does.
He cares.
I think he doesn't care. I think he sees it and he doesn't care.
You give him a lot of credit to think that he thinks that far in advance about things he does not care about.
I don't necessarily think that maybe he sees it, but I'm sure the people around him see it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe someone mentions it, but okay. Like, I just feel like that means not a thing, unfortunately.
Right. And it also impacts, I feel like it's one population that we also forget where it would greatly impact is the elderly population. Like, we have elderly people that are shut-ins, that can't deal with public transportation or walking for far distances to get to the grocery store. Those are the people that would have these benefits as well. And they too old to be having further health issues. Like they don't need this.
The other thing is too is that like they already like even so I have family members and people who I know receive SNAP benefits. They already don't necessarily receive like I don't know how they divvy up how much person per household or whatever gets what, but they already barely get enough money to sustain them for the entire month. So this program isn't like there's ways and there's like I agree with y'all about there's ways that he could do it and they could do it the right way, which could be beneficial to them. But right now, how are you gonna like even help the people who already don't necessarily get enough food stamps or SNAP benefits to begin with? So like somebody I know, like they get like $150 a month. That's not enough.
Yeah. And going along with that, Treese, like there are so many different dietary needs.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous for the government to think that they can give people a preset type of product and think that's okay. There's so many different kinds of people with so many different health concerns and diets that are just
allergies.
Right. Like it's ridiculous. And like you said, they can barely afford what they need with the little money that they have. Can you imagine what would happen once they got 5 boxes of nasty ass cornflakes and then they have to figure out what they're going to eat? Because I'm not eating that shit. I wouldn't eat it.
Oh, and the evaporated milk. I remember seeing that too, like as a thing in the box that you got to go pick up from the place. I don't know where that place is, but it was the place you had to go pick it up.
I feel like this also furthers the stigma that people, with your mentioning about like the dietary needs, this like beef that people have with people who have EBT, especially before you could swipe a card and people had to actually use it, where people have this attitude that if someone is on government assistance or something that they don't deserve to have quality food. Like how you hear about people saying, well, I saw them with steaks or I saw them with this, as if something is wrong with like having
let them live their life.
Diet. And so I feel like this is another way of that kind of attitude that a lot of people, particularly that party that 45 is a part of, has to, the ones that ain't on food stamps, because we know who uses the most food stamps, but that's a different, has this idea about, they don't, if you can't go to work, you don't deserve to have this. So I'm going to give you what you deserve, which is like super fucked up.
Trash.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to, listen, I have Amazon Prime. And I will pay for something. Well, I pay my yearly subscription and then I pay for my item, expecting to get my item within 2 days. I cannot tell you how many times I have not gotten it in 2 days. Can you imagine the logistical nightmare of trying to deliver packages?
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
That's why it's never going to happen that way.
So true. So true.
And do you think
it's never going to happen that way?
No, it's not, but it's just the idea of it. And I can complain about my packages not getting here on time because I'm paying money for it. If somebody doesn't get their package for a week or 2 weeks because it gets lost in the mail or stolen or something, do you think that somebody's going to give a shit?
Right.
That's a good point.
Nope, they won't.
A really good point.
Yeah, but that just goes back to that whole like detached feelings that 45 has. Like he logistically doesn't understand like how this is going to work. So he just thinks it's just going to magically happen. And people are going to get their food.
Their American Harvest box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got a picture of corn on the front.
It's gotta be like some grain, an eagle, and an American flag.
Yeah. Oh, maybe the eagle is holding the piece of grain.
It's the American dream. They spent like hours.
Open, like
right. But they spent hours on that name, and once they got it, they're like, "That's perfect, American Harvest."
Right, and then like in cryptic letters on the bottom, it'll have something that's like MAGA.
There'll be the Surgeon General's warning on the box, is what'll be on.
This may cause cancer.
All the side effects. So, in entertainment news, I think Tia is going to take it away with our hot topic. Hot pocket.
And lean pockets too.
That one, 3 flavors.
Spawn, add.
We're keeping that in. Not taking that out.
Hot Pockets, we're coming for you. So we, I think that we should talk about different relationships and whether you should interject into relationships. So this was inspired by Real Housewives of Atlanta, but we're going to broaden that out because we know that not everybody watches Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Dang.
So we want to pose the question: do you share with your girlfriend, boyfriend, and by that I mean like friendship, like platonic, do you share with them that their partner is no good or up to something that you think that they should not be up to? Thoughts, questions, concerns?
I would say it depends on the situation at hand and who my friend, how well I know. No, that's not true because that could backfire as well. How close our friendship is and how deep it runs. So like, there are some people who, there's a lot of girls out there or young women and women in general who just do not trust their friendship and have that like strong friendship unit, even though they have frenemies. I'll just say it like that. So whereas like, even though you my girl, we kick it, we hang out, I don't trust you. So like, if you come to me and tell me something, I'm not going to trust you. I'm going to trust what my man say. That's how some women are. And then you have the other one that's like, that person will take it into a consideration of what you're saying, even if they don't necessarily believe it or want to believe it. They'll take it and gather evidence to further support what you just told them and then use it to their advantage. So you have that person, or you have the person who just thinks you a messy bitch and don't want to fuck with you.
I think for me, it would depend on, like, for me being the person possibly telling, it would depend on, like, what I actually know or think I know. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I just see someone, like, hanging out with, with someone, then I might not necessarily say something. But if I see them, like, making out or, like, about to fuck,
What in the situation?
then I would
are you
say
in?
something. Like, I feel like a lot of people are quick to jump to conclusions, and I wouldn't want to interject myself into someone's relationship without, and not to say I'm going to go investigate anything, do you know what I mean? Like, but if it's like a one-off situation, I'm not going to quickly jump, I think, because I haven't been in this situation, unless I see like a blatant act of cheating, I guess. I don't know. But then, because I'm trying to think about, like, if it were you guys and if I saw your partners out and about, like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't assume that if they're with someone not with you that they're cheating on you, unless I see like a blatant act of cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I see.
I don't know.
No, that makes sense.
I feel like I might take it there to investigate. I feel like I need to know what the hell is going on. And it doesn't even mean like breaking into anything or anything like that. But I'd be like,
Right.
oh, so, well,
I would step up.
I'd likely say something to that partner, like, hey, so-and-so, I see you. Oh, I'm Miska. Nice to meet you, and you are? And like, really, I feel like I would take that step because I need to know. And I feel like with certain things like that, though, you got one time for me to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I say, hey, I noticed this, even if it's, you know, some suspect behavior, some concerning behavior, whatever, I'm like, hey, girl, or guy, whatever, I just noticed this. I don't know if you're aware, but I just noticed it, and I want you to know this. And then whatever you do with that information is up to you, and I'm not going to say nothing else about it. And that's kind of it for me.
So what if the person told, so what if the friend, like, told, like, we had a, you know, having a girl to girl, woman to woman, or partner to partner conversation or whatever, friendship to friendship, whatever. And they're like, listen, if you see my partner out here doing dirt or whatever, come tell me. Come let me know. So I'm not out here looking like a fool. Do you still tell them? If you see them out here doing stuff?
If I have
gotta be.
permission,
Yeah.
like
Right. I feel like if you tell me to tell you, but I'm also gonna say, if you worried about it, honey, you need to be
That's exactly
thinking
my
about this
first instinct.
relationship. Like,
If you're already
you're not
paranoid,
detectives, like,
right?
Mhm.
I feel like you
Yeah,
already
other
have your trust issues. I'm also on the same boat. I mean, if I see the person just out and about and that doesn't seem like they're doing anything, I probably won't say anything unless it's like really evidentiary that like, oh, they're doing shit. Then I'd probably say something because I don't want to cause trouble. But then again, I'm very non-confrontational, so that's just me as well.
I feel like it's something I would, if it was really bad, I'd probably tell them right away. Otherwise, I just wait for people to like fall out with their partners, and I'm like, I never liked them anyway. Because of this,
I've gotten that before.
no.
I agree.
I'm giving you permission. Tell me, girl, if you see something.
well, like I said, like it'll be if it's smaller stuff where like I just don't like the way that they treat the person, or like I see them doing something small, like saying, "Oh, I don't take this drug," and then I see them take a drug or something, like something that's smaller, as opposed to like them
Right.
being
Cheating.
Yeah. I was about to say infertile. That's not the right word.
Whatever. I saw them being infertile, and I
saw those medical records, and I said,
wait a minute. There were no spermies floating around. I gotta tell them. I got to.
Oh, which actually, I do have a hypothetical that's not a hypothetical, but so.
Thanks for that disclaimer.
All in quotations, apparently. Allegedly.
Allegedly. What if you knew, and let's say the female in the situation is your friend. Let's say that you knew that your friend and her partner were trying to get pregnant, and the female had an IUD implanted and told you not to tell the male who wanted children that she had an IUD. She doesn't want children at all, so she's going to go the rest of her life without telling this person that they could have kids, but she has an IUD in. What would you do?
I would tell the woman, like, girl, if you don't tell this man you don't want to have kids,
yes.
That would be number one. I definitely would not, especially if the woman is my friend. I'm always, good or bad, I'm usually gonna be on your side unless you just on some real fuck shit. So I'm not gonna want to tell your man something you told me in confidence. I'm not gonna do that. But I am gonna talk to you and be like, girl, now you know that is not fair. Like, if you don't want to have kids, that's fine, but you don't want to start like a snowball effect of quote unquote trying and then nothing's happening, and then that's causing stress or causing the dude to feel some type of, I just feel like, girl, just
that's all the way messy.
Yeah.
That's super messy.
That's a lot.
I would do the same.
So much. It's doing so much.
Right.
I probably would preface that I love you and I support your decision.
But you ain't
right.
But
then you ain't right.
Right.
But just be like,
you know you ain't right.
But you know it. But it's like saying like, okay, what if like your man went and got a vasectomy and didn't tell you anything about that and you were trying to have kids? Like, just turn it around and be like, you're pissed that he didn't, inform you of his doing, so you should probably let him know. Ugh, that is messy.
That's super messy.
Messy, yes.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I would tell her she ain't right.
All of this pouring, Jen.
Stressing me out.
Yeah.
I said I wasn't going to drink that much.
All I'll say is I would just say it ain't right and let her know it ain't right. And then like try to talk about how you could potentially be wasting each other's lives because, well, he wants kids and you don't. So like finding someone else that will meet your goals about what you want for, your life. Because eventually he's going to start asking questions and wanting to get tested and like wanting to go to fertility doctors and like all that stuff, which we know that shit's expensive. as
And
hell to do,
stressful.
and
Like Miska
stressful
was
as
saying.
fuck. Meanwhile, you over here fine, your eggs pumping, percolating, and you got an IUD. I'm just saying that ain't right.
It's rude. That's what that is. I mean,
Mhm.
rude.
I respect her decision to not want kids, but then it's like if this
Right. It's not about the wanting kids or not wanting kids. It's the not
being truthful to your
communication
partner.
with
Yeah.
the partner.
That's what I mean. I'm
Yeah.
like, I respect that. Like, I get that. That's cool. But then to like be with someone who you know like wants kids and is
Right.
like picking out names and saying, "Oh my God, my son gonna do this, or my daughter gonna do that," and then the whole time you're like, "Miss was gone."
I just feel like if I catch you in some shit, I'm gonna give you a time limit. If I catch you in some shit, you got 48 hours or whatever I decide on, and you can be honest, or I'm happy to be honest for you, and that's it. Actually, I'm not happy to. It's heartbreaking to have to tell your friend that they man is on some bullshit or a woman or whatever, but don't play with me. I just feel like don't, or my friend, no, and that's it. So none of my friends' partners better let me be the one because it's over.
I'm so happy to say that so far none of my close friends, partners have put me in this situation.
Same here.
So
same
grateful.
Here. Same here.
I would be so drunk all the time if somebody had put me in a situation like that. I would not be able to deal with this. Don't put that shit on me. Like, it's too much.
I just see Jen and Lynn like stumbling into work with like shade. Like, oh, the stress.
And it's just my friends. They're fucked up.
What were you saying, Trees?
I was saying that was a good one, but I'm like, if it was cheating or what, or like something more serious, I think it'll be a little, because you can, at least with that one, you can have like a one-on-one with your friend, but then like, because it's not necessarily about, it's about her, not necessarily, or him, not necessarily like the other partner doing some dirt. Because I think that is a little bit more like, it's harder to do, because you don't know how their reaction is going to be. Because you can have that like, look, we need to have a come to Jesus moment right now on some real shit. Your dude or your girl, whoever fucking around or whatever they doing that's not right. And I just think it could end badly, because then if they decide to like not use the information, or even like they know the information but choose not to act on it, or are more forgiving of that partner who did the wrong, and then now you just sitting there looking like you feel like you wasn't trusted. I don't know.
See, I wouldn't take it personally. I kind of feel like Miska, where it's like, I told you what I had to tell you. Whatever you're going to do with it, that's on you. It has no effect directly on my life. So it's up to you to figure out what you're going to do about the situation. And I'm never going to feel bad about sticking up for my friend. Do you know what I mean? And that means calling them out on their bullshit or not. Like, I'm never going to feel bad about it, because I will always have your best interest at heart. And I'm still going to support you and be there for you should you need further support, but I'm never going to apologize for setting you straight or protecting you in a way that you need to know certain information.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, but then like, what if they don't like the information that you share? They're not necessarily doing anything with it, or continuously being in whatever like hurtful situation, and like knowing this, and then coming to you time after time. Like, how like do you get to a point as a friend where you're just like, don't talk to me about this person no more, because I can't fucking deal with this?
Yeah.
Or do you just continue to be like, okay,
yeah,
I must support.
I couldn't tell them.
You know what I'm saying?
Stop. I personally couldn't tell them to stop coming to me about it, because I never want to and this is outside of like an abusive relationship, right?
Yeah.
In an abusive relationship, honey, I'm kidnapping you. We're going to press charges. I got you. I don't care if I have to drive across state lines.
Right.
I got you. Like, I am kidnapping you. But outside of an abusive relationship, I'm never going to tell them to stop coming to me, because I always want to be able to, I want them to always know that there's at least someone who's got their back. Do you know what I mean? And I'll be annoyed as hell with the constant stories over and over and over again, but I can't make the decision for them. And at some point, hopefully, they'll just be tired of it and figured it out on their own, but I can't make other people's decisions.
Yeah.
I also don't have friends that, I don't think, make stupid decisions in relationships that are not serving them. So
yeah. So it was just
I just feel like the only time it could get like kind of messy is if the friend is extremely like defensive and accusatory toward you, which I can't think of anyone in my personal friend group, but I know that this happens where if I bring some information to the person out of, love or whatever, like, girl, just want to let you know. And then they're like, well, you don't want to see me happy, or you want to fuck my man, or like all this.
That one.
Yeah, which could happen.
I'm just like, girl, imaginary girl. Like,
Girl,
Yeah.
but I could see that kind of,
mm-hmm.
having some impact on the decision that I decided to make. So.
Yep.
But now on a lighthearted note, would you tell, like, say your girl, like, boyfriend, fiance, husband, or whatever, like, would you tell them that something, like, small annoys you about them? Or would you just keep that in and just, like, let it sit
About their partner?
Yeah, about their
What would
partner.
it be,
Let
though?
it
It depends on
go.
what it
Yeah,
is.
like, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say from personal experience. It's a personal experience. But, like, one of my exes, I remember my mom would be like, so she kept it until we broke up, but, like, he wouldn't, like, help me with groceries or whatever. Like, he wouldn't, like, carry stuff with me, but she kept it in. But as soon as we broke, she's like, I never liked him because he never helped you do anything. I'm like, well, why didn't you say that shit whenever I was going out with him?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I'm with Tia on that one.
Keep it in until it breaks
keep
it
it all
down.
in.
Got it.
Because you don't know what's gonna happen, like, man. Because, like, legit, like, I trust our friend group, but I trust that we will all be honest with each other if some shit go down. But, like, outside of this circle, like, my other friends or, like, people, like, I don't know that I could be as blunt with and say, like, yo, I don't like no, you just keep it all in, and then when it happens, and you just say, like, what your mama did, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like it'll become negative, and then y'all not hanging out no more. Like,
Well, so it's not my relationship. So
that too.
Like whatever works for you in your relationship, him being lazy and not helping you out, all right, that's your relationship. Like, it has no personal bearing on my relationship, my life. So
everybody got their own system in their relationship is what I come to find out. So, like, what may work for you don't work for me, but it worked for y'all, and that's cool. I'm not judging it because it's y'all. Like, that's what y'all do, and it's okay because our relationship ain't the same.
Yeah.
Well, taking it further, though, what if it does have a personal bearing on you? Like, what if something about the partner annoys you, and it's the fact that something they do is, like, being aggressive towards you or, like, making shitty comments towards you or something like that? How do you handle that?
Ooh. Yeah,
I would speak with them.
That's the tough
Do you speak to your friend or do you speak to the person?
No, I was going to talk to the person. I was first going to say I would talk to the person directly, but I think I would give a heads up to my friend, like, hey, this is kind of something that I'm noticing a pattern between Mike and I just want to let you know, like, I would like to address it because I don't want it to be an ongoing issue. I know this is someone that you care about, and I don't want there to be issues between someone that you care about and me as your friend. So I'm gonna try to address it. But I'm also just in general that kind of person that when I notice someone acting some type of way, I'm not gonna not talk about it. Like, I'll let you know that I noticed that you're being an asshole. So what's the issue? But that's just kind of who I am anyway. So I don't know that would change if it's your partner.
I was just trying to decide if I would talk to my friend or I would directly talk to the person, or like what I would want. Well, I think that I would prefer that you talk to me because I've been in that situation, not with friends, but with family and one of my partners, and there was beef there, and it was a lot. But I was somewhat able to lightweight a little bit, kind of referee at least a little, because I know both of you and I know how it'll be handled, and I don't necessarily trust either party, not necessarily y'all, but these two people, to communicate effectively about something. So it
depend on like who.
Yeah, it depends on what the combination of people is for me, just because there's some interesting people. So
I agree, because I feel like in my circle, or I don't know, being a friend. Like some people are sensitive, and so you have to figure out how to approach them in a nice way without coming off as mean or offensive. And then like the people, everybody I know relationships are like well over 5 years. So it's be difficult to approach them and we're all in the same circle. It'll be uncomfortable. I think I might just drink about it and just let it go.
Sam.
See, I don't want to risk my livers. I'd rather just like get it all out, come to a common ground, and either we're gonna be cool after this conversation or we're not. But I'm not gonna let it fester inside of me while somebody's being an asshole to me.
Would say one advice I was given, which turned out to not work, it backfired. True story. But you could. I'm not gonna go there. But I would say is that maybe confront the partner on the side, like if they're saying something inappropriate to you, and then if they continue to do it, then threaten to tell the partner. If you know your partner, your friend trusts you, and they're gonna go along with what you
see. But if you're gonna threaten, you got to be able to back it up.
No, but it's the truth. Like if they're like I'm saying, going off Tia was saying about the aggression or saying something that's inappropriate to you, and then like nipping in the bud right when it happens, and then like if they continuously like peck and be aggressive, then kind of confront them with the like, man, get your boy or get your girl, your partner, whatever.
All right, so that's it for entertainment, and now we're going into our shout outs. Go on, Shirley, shout us out.
All right, so we have in general, we want to shout out the students of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. As many of you know, that is the site of the most recent, I believe, school shooting of this year. And it's been, the students there have been the most vocal, I think, in the history of school shootings, if I'm not mistaken, in making sure that it no longer happens and really pushing for gun reform. So for 17 minutes at 10 a.m. across each time zone on March 14th, that is this Wednesday, school faculty and supporters around the world will walk out of their schools to honor those killed in the massacre at the Parkland High School earlier this year to protest gun violence. And that is being spearheaded by Moms Demand Action. Also on March 24th, an organization called March for Our Lives, Kids and Families, will take the streets of Washington, D.C., so that is solely in D.C., to demand that their lives and safety become a priority, also spearheaded by Everytown. Lastly, on April 20th, there is a national students walkout as well, also demanding or protesting against gun violence. Another special shout out, something that I've noticed recently, and we've all noticed, some high schools are allowing students to peacefully protest and they will not receive disciplinary action. Also for those college juniors, seniors, whatever it may be, universities are also posting on their social media and letting students know that should any students who are speaking out against gun violence, whether that be a protest or a walkout, even if they receive disciplinary action from their schools, it will in no way affect their admissions decision at these universities. So I think that's a great thing. It's allowing students, young minds, to speak out for something that they really care for without feeling like they can't do so because they have to get into college. And I think that's really, really important. And it really shows that some organizations care about young people speaking their minds and really sticking up for what they believe in, even if they face disciplinary or legal consequences. So yeah, there are shout outs. Yay, kids.
Good job.
I'm gonna sip to that.
Sip to these high school students. Good for you.
We just wanted to shout out Ryan Coogler and Ava DuVernay and the casts of Black Panther and A Wrinkle in Time for being #1. So the two top movies right now, 1 and 2, are Blackity Black, 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 y'all. So congrats to and it's also Women's History Month, so Eva DuVernay can also fall into that category, intersectionality and all. So look out for our social media. We'll be honoring various women across the month of March, and just kind of shouting out the ladies.
Congrats. Yes. All right, so now we are into our fun segment of Let's Whine About It. And my whine about it is the White House pretty boy, aka Ivanka's husband, aka the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. He's my whine about it because he is a piece of shit. Just joking. He is. But that's not the only reason why I'm whining about him. This wasn't recent. This happened like late February, but so much shit has been going down as of late that we are just getting to it now. Jared Kushner is the senior advisor of the White House. He's also in charge of foreign policy matters, which sounds pretty important. But as of late, he was downgraded with a slew of White House aides with his security level. It was after Rob Porter had his little thing in the White House of his domestic abuse scandal, which raised red flags like, wait a minute, why does this guy have a bunch of clearance? So we should probably look at everybody else, which included Jared Kushner. So now that Jared Kushner does not have his security clearance, he's stripped of his access to the nation's top secrets. He cannot access the president's daily briefing, which is a collection of top secrets that the materials prepared for number 45. And you would think that he'd be like, oh, daddy-in-law, can you please give me my security clearance? But number 45 is also lacking in leadership skills. Said, no, I'm good. Let's see what John Kelly, who's our chief of staff, decides what he's going to do with you. So my problem with Jared Kushner not having his security clearance, you just can imagine that this guy is supposed to be in charge of your foreign policy matters, and he goes into different countries with meetings with other country ambassadors or whatever, and he gets into these meetings and it's like, guess what, guys, I don't know anything because nobody's telling me shit because I don't have the security clearance. So this guy is supposed to be in charge of making allies with other countries. He's supposed to know what's going on with the White House, but he can't. Yet he still has his motherfucking job.
Yep.
So I do not understand that he's basically just hanging out in the White House, just walking around, but still has a job there where everybody else is dropping like flies. And the only difference is that he is married to Ivanka Trump. So have at it. He should be fired. I don't know why he's still there, but to me, I don't understand what he's really bringing to this administration. But then again, who else is bringing anything to the administration? So he's just falling
Not even 45.
in line. Exactly.
Anyone who has been leaving as well.
Right. So.
I didn't know he still had his job. I thought with the loss of his security clearance, that automatically meant...
No, he still has his job.
But you know what? I feel like he's still going to those meetings. I feel like honestly,
he is.
I feel like 45 and whoever is like, they're not keeping track of that. It's fine. Come on in.
Rules don't work here.
He's still going to those meetings for the same reason he got into that position in the first place, which was to make deals with countries and investors to help his own business.
Right.
And that doesn't change without intel and then, top secrets. He can still do the same thing. He just might be at a slight disadvantage, but you still got the clout of the White House behind you to make whatever deals you want.
So let's talk about it. The reason why he don't have security clearance is because he keep changing shit. So what, because I listen to these other guys that are pretty awesome. Who? So he has to submit documentation.
Who are they?
My best friends in my head.
Oh boy.
There we go.
All right. Well, that spiraled quickly.
But they were saying that you have to submit documentation for things for security clearance. And apparently he keeps amending and updating shit, which is why they're just fuck, you're denied because you just keep updating shit. Mainly to do with financial stuff because he's taking out loans from people and countries, and such. So that's another reason that's prohibiting his clearance, which is making him being not able to do his job effectively, which is what General Whitten says he should relieve of his duties. He should not be working.
Well, we should also be going back even further, because even before he got his clearance, he lied on the forms. Like, and that is, if anyone ever applies for, not even at the state level, but especially at the federal level, like the state level is pretty bad too.
They want
but
everything.
At the federal level, if you lie on that form, that is worse than you putting on there that like you came in to the interview high. Like,
Yeah.
it is, because that is so much worse. That automatically puts you as untrustworthy in the eyes of the federal government.
Exactly.
So by doing that, he should have been canceled out from the beginning. He should not have had his clearance, but you know, like whatever. Like that's the
nepotism.
Exactly. That's exactly what's going on there.
Which I thought there were rules in place for that, but apparently that place
rules and they don't work anymore.
No,
in the White House.
They don't work.
They don't. Rules
no
don't
one
work.
follows them.
Yeah.
So that was my big gripe. I think Jared Kushner should be jobless and
or at least not in the White House.
Not in the White House. Yeah, he can still have a job, do his business shit, but just get the fuck out of the White House.
Can he run Daddy-in-law's company, who he still has a hand in and should not have a hand in?
No, that's what
allegedly.
Eric and Don Jr. is handling that.
And they're allegedly not telling Donald? No, that didn't sound right. Number 45 anything about the business, but you know he is. It's all like all winks and allegedly when it comes to that whole administration.
You mean that family? I got it.
Don't tell you anything about it. Got it. Don't talk to Russia. Wink, wink. Got it. All right. Well, I think Tia might have a whine about it. Oh boy.
Wow.
Everybody get that soapbox out. She's ready to stand on it.
Take a sip.
Oh boy.
Soapbox emoji inserted here.
Oh, me, oh my. So I have a let's whine about it. Fucking daylight savings time. Always the real serious one, right? I just don't understand. I know why it's in place, allegedly, which is for like economic reasons and apparently energy saving. But I will tell you that it does not help save energy the way that it's supposedly supposed to. It's not to help farmers have more time. It started out being inconvenient to farmers because they had less time to take their food to market. In terms of like trade and economy, I don't give a shit because those aren't my industries. I do not care. What I care about is not getting the sleep that I need.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Hallelujah.
everything, I have to adjust everything. And I will tell you that more car accidents happen when time changes, and heart attacks. Oh my God.
It's the daylight savings time is affecting your speech.
I don't know about heart attacks.
See? Yeah.
Oh God.
That Monday after, car accidents and heart attacks go up.
Wow.
Which some attribute to like
stress,
lack of sleep, the difference in like the sunlight in terms of the accidents, not so much the heart attacks, I don't think, but I just
allegedly,
let's be like Arizona and Queensland, who do not follow daylight savings time. It is the same time every day, all year.
Yep.
And that's okay.
They're surviving.
Sounds like I'm the only one that doesn't mind daylight savings.
And okay,
it's like an announcement that spring is coming.
You were so excited about it.
Which is cute. I feel like that's cute and all, and I like that.
It's 1 hour. It's 1 hour.
It's okay.
That is
but then
so
like
8 p.m. But I need my motherfucking sleep. And this
Thank
is my
you.
priority.
It's 1 hour. Go to bed earlier. That's what I do.
No.
I did that. I did that.
And it
That's
can be a mental
bullshit.
thing possibly, but it does not feel
Mm-mm.
the same. I
Mm.
feel like death right now. It feels like 3 a.m. to me.
Okay.
It might be. Who knows? We don't know.
It should feel like
I mean, you might not have set your
10
microwave
a.m.
up yet,
or
or your
10 p.m.
What? Surely.
because we went an hour ahead, so it should feel like 10:45.
I'm
Listen.
saying it feels like I've been up forever because I'm missing sleep.
Oh, thank you.
Took my
It's like
goddamn
some people adjust better than others, just in terms of like any sleep schedule. Like some people are always just going to struggle with sleep. And then there's some people that be like, okay, today I'm going to go to bed at 8 o'clock, and they can go to bed at 8 o'clock and it works. But some people's internal clocks just don't shift like that. And I tell you what, kids' internal clocks do not shift like that. They still get up at their regular 7 a.m., whether it is 6 a.m. or 8 a.m., depending on however times are shifting at whatever point in the year. They still, their little bodies do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just...
Kids don't understand daylight savings time, no matter how
No one
many times you tell
understands
them.
it.
Well-
No one even knows why it exists. Why does it exist? Go away. I mean, I know why. Fucking Germany. But go away. We don't need you. Sorry, Tia.
No, it's fine. I just think it speaks to the body is regulated and shifts
Circadian
to that
rhythms.
regulation. Yeah, like it's a real thing. And for some people, like it's easier, and for other people, it's not. And I'm one of those people, and I fucking hate it. I don't care that I'm not going to have an extra hour of sunlight in the evening because I'm not going to be out anyways. I don't care.
I don't go out anyway. What's the point? Yeah.
And that's my whine about it.
And lightweight feel
Support that statement.
attacked. But that's okay. It's okay. I know there are other people out there who don't mind daylight savings time.
There are surveys, Shirley,
If you're out
of
there.
people who don't mind or have no
if you're-
opinion on the
If
matter.
you're out there, comment below.
There are potential.
Somebody help her. She feels abandoned
I
and
feel so
attacked.
alone. I feel so alone.
So go ahead and comment, rate, and review. While you're there, might as well.
Shirley, you're just the lucky one who it brings heralds of great things and new beginnings and fresh starts. And for other people, it just equals death.
Yep.
I think it's worse than death.
Because I agree. I feel like it brings spring, and I like that, and I like the extra sunlight. But what the fuck that got to do with my sleep?
Right.
That is where
Thank
I'm
you.
upset about it. I like being outside at 9 p.m. and it's light outside. I think that's cute.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have my sleep than
Yeah.
the end.
You know, that whole spring thing, though, maybe it's because I'm in a more northern climate than some other people in the country. Like, it's not going to herald spring until
No.
temperatures
For
hit
another
at
3
least-
months.
Right. Until they hit like 45 steady for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
It snowed yesterday for us. I just want to throw that out
I
there.
had some flurries on my way home, but
I
the
was-
sun was shining, and I was like, "Go the fuck away," because I can't enjoy you because
Yeah.
what's flurries?
Spring
I
forward
still
my
got
ass.
my North Face slumber like sleeping bag coat on.
I
So
do too.
this is not the
It's
herald.
bad. I still gotta
Not
warm
here
my
yet,
car
but it's
up.
coming soon.
Ugh.
It does not. No, this is what you don't understand about
I'm all
our
alone. I
northern-
get it. I get it. I
the
understand.
northern
I'm all
states.
alone in this
okay?
sentiment.
Like,
I'm all
we're
alone.
not gonna see spring. Like, y'all excited. I mean, the people who appreciate it, like 7 time, y'all excited. Okay, spring coming. Whoop do. But we not finna see spring
Attacked.
until like June, though.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
Like, let's be realistic.
And then it's gonna be
But
hot as
it's not
hell
like
in
it's
June.
It's not like
We
for
know.
me it gets warmer sooner because that's not the. I don't know. I like new beginnings. For me, daylight savings is a new beginning. And in terms of the sleep, like I feel like either I am on a good sleep schedule and I'm good, or I'm already sleeping like shit anyway, and it makes no difference. Like so, I don't know. I don't hate it. It's sort of an inconvenience, but I don't hate it as much as the rest of you lovely ladies.
How do you feel about falling back?
My
Again,
favorite
it's the same-
holiday. My favorite day of the year.
That means
It's the
Christmas is
same
coming.
thing.
I get
Either
so
I'm
excited.
sleeping well, or I'm sleeping well, or I'm sleeping like shit anyway. So
Oh my God, I can't take your.
I mean, if we could fall back all the time.
Let's just After a couple of years, you just add like, or you delete a day in the calendar because you're scrolling back so much, like every 24 years. Sounds good.
I'm sure it'll
I'm
work.
with it.
Thank you for listening to another episode of W.I.N.E. You can find our podcast on Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube, and Google Play. You can also follow and like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at W.I.N.E Podcasts with an S. So please rate, review, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Let them know we're here. Give us a listen. We appreciate any feedback.
Any feedback,
Any of it.
supportive ones and
Any of it.
suggestions, but not really.
If you
Yeah.
down for the daylight savings time, let us know in the
Comment
comments.
review.
If you
Or
don't
you're
like
not.
like savings
Or I
time,
guess if you're not,
because we
let us
don't know. We're still adjusting over here.
Just
or
let
some
us
tips on how
know.
you get through daylight savings time. is what you guys do.
Join the conversation, please. We would love
Yeah.
to hear from you guys.
What did you have for lunch?
We like when we hear from our subscribers. You guys get shy and only like message us individually. So just
Yeah.
go
It gives us life.
Yeah, Gary, let me know what you think.
Hi, Gary.
I didn't mean to shout them out, but damn.
We did.
Happy early birthday!
Oh, shit. Happy early birthday, Gary. Thank you all. This daylight savings time is killing us.
We did. It's 11 o'clock. I need to go.
Okay,
to
bye,
sleep.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, all.
I was
See ya.
expecting to hear the music. This is a podcast.